Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, welcome to another video, and in this week's video I thought we'd take a little trip back in time. Let's visit Newquest. Trailer of Newquest Chronicles, which went out the week before the first episode, which was on the 21st of July 2018. Now this was a whole year in the planning. I had the idea but didn't really know where to go with it, so I spent probably most of 2017 planning it out, getting the builds because I can't build, so I had to get everything off the gallery, creating the characters, a rough idea of the storyline, but admittedly I didn't actually know what the storylines were going to be until I started filming each episode, which made it even more exciting. Now the whole Let's Play lasted for 20 episodes and it was a real struggle to do it because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know about editing, I didn't know about recording. It was a complete labour of love, if you like, but I always said I would never ever delete the save file. I would keep it going, keep popping in now and again to see how the characters are developing over the years. And what I thought we would do in this episode is go into each house in Newquest. Now, you note I said Newquest and not Newcrest. I decided to call it Newquest Chronicles to give it a little bit of an identity. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go into each household. I'll give you the backstory and we'll see what they're doing now. Now this is the first house that we're going to look in, and this is the home of Shirley. Now this is Shirley Longbottom, and she's one of my original characters. She has had a bit of a tough life. She married Jeff, who was a lot older than her, and she had 3 children. Now Jeff died quite early on in the series and left her on her own to bring up the 3 children. Now she had a problematic brother-in-law called Ben, who was Jeff's brother, who did some despicable things throughout the whole course of the Let's Play. He teamed up with another member of the cast, if you like, called Timothy, and between them they caused so much disruption they eventually had to be sent off to the planet Sixum to live the rest of their lives in a prison up there. It's a long story, you need to watch the Let's Play really. So anyway, this is Shirley. Now, as I said, she has 3 children. This is Toby, who looks a lot like his dad. And David down here, if I can find him. There we go. There's David. Still quite a young chap, still hasn't really found his focus in life and obviously gets bored a lot as well. Now they do have a daughter. Jeff and Shirley adopted a daughter called Dusty. Now we'll have a look at Dusty later because she is in another part of the game. She is over in Del Sol Valley and she is a famous internet star. More on that later. Next door to Shirley lives Charlie and Linda Spencer. Now this is Linda. She is based on a friend of mine and she got married to Charlie in the very last episode. Now when I left the game they just moved into this house and now they have a daughter called Gabriella, rather. And if we see Charlie, he's outside in the rain for some reason. Oh, he's changed his mind. Now he's coming in. Now, these guys met in the gym that Linda had just signed up to. And he was her personal trainer, and they ended up getting married. So that's the storyline of Linda, Charlie, and Gabriella. Here's the next house, and this one belongs to Joe and Kirsten. Now, unfortunately, Joe and Kirsten don't really have a storyline. They used to share a house in another village with Ben, who was the infamous brother-in-law of Shirley. Now, when things turned bad, these guys were left homeless because Ben basically threw them out of the house. That's how nasty it was. And so they had nowhere to go. However, Shirley had this house in Newquest, and on the last episode invited them to move in, which they did. So we don't know much about these guys. However, I do know that since I have been away from the game, romance has blossomed between these two. So I don't know where this is going to go, but it will be interesting to keep an eye on these pair. Now, this is Joe and Kirsten. And next door to Joe and Kirsten is Hannah and Jack Lumber. Now here's Jack, and over here is Hannah on the computer. Now Hannah was based on a friend of mine. Now when the game started, she and Jack lived in separate houses, and over the course of about 8 or 9 episodes their relationship developed and blossomed, and they got married around episode 12. Now when I left the game, they got a son called Brad. If we can move the TV out, there's Brad. However, when I went back into the game, we got another baby called Holly, and a little boy called, what's his name again? Harvey. Holly and Harvey. So they had twins. I'm not quite sure what he's doing, but making a mess at least anyway. So that is Jack and Hannah's story. Didn't really have much of a storyline, unfortunately, because there was so much going off, but nevertheless, what developed here was quite a rock solid relationship. And next we have Cheryl and Glen Brock. Now there's Cheryl, and if we find Brock, not quite sure what he's doing there, but anyway, that's Brock, that's her husband. Now these two dated right at the very start of the series. Now Brock did propose to Cheryl 3 times, and every time she turned him down because she wasn't ready to commit, and then she found out that she was pregnant, and then when he asked her for a 4th time, she said yes. Now they have twins, and there they are, Laura and Beth. Completely different characters. Beth is a bit of a I don't know what you would call it, a bit of a mod, where Laura basically looks a lot like her mum. So completely different characters. Not particularly good at school either. If we look at her, an F grade student. Now the problem is, you see, all the characters and all the families in this game are all millionaires. So they don't really need to do a great deal in life, just get through school and then just basically live their best life. So grades don't really mean a lot to these girls. So that's Cheryl and Glen Brock. Now, who would live in a house like this? Me! Now, why would I put my sim self in the game? Well, a lot came available because of various people getting married and moving out. So I put this house on the lot, and I thought, well, instead of recreating a sim, let's put my sim self in. And there I am. Now, my sim self did not have a storyline. All he was there for, basically, is to make up the numbers. So I can't really say much more about that. He appeared in a few scenes, going out for dinner with people, going to weddings and things, and that's just about it. So there's absolutely no reason for me to be there, but I'm there. Next, we have Sammy and Alex Gardner. Now, this was probably the most exciting storyline I had, and this started right from the very beginning. This is Sammy, and she ran away to Newquest because she was about to go through an arranged marriage that she didn't want to do. So she hid away and moved to Newquest. And about halfway through the series, it turned out that the reason that she didn't want to get married is because she got a secret boyfriend, which was Alex. So he came over, moved in with Sammy, and they had 3 girls, triplets. Now, I am going to get her out of the pool because she is rather cold and I don't want her to die just yet. So let's get you out rather quickly. So the triplets rather, are Gemma, Maya, and Gloria. Triplets all doing incredibly well at school. I think they're all A grade students, I think. Oh, Bs. They're all Bs. So that is their house. Now, it was quite a shock when Sammy had triplets because I honestly didn't expect it. In fact, I didn't even realise it was possible. But that was at a time when I didn't know a great deal about the game. But yeah, that storyline certainly took off and went in a crazy direction, to put it mildly. But yeah, that is Sammy and Alex's story. And finally, the home of Tessa, Stephen, Nadine, Will and Derek. Now, I've always considered this my original storyline because the idea of putting these 5 guys in this particular house was it was going to be like a haunted house, and I was going to do a completely separate let's play of these guys being scared half to death with events and things that were going on in the house. However, when I tried to put it all together and gave it a haunted lot, all that would happen is ghosts would come in and wreck the toilet, and it didn't really work out at all. However, we didn't get the haunted pack that we have now. Otherwise, it would have worked out really well. Maybe that's something I should do in the future. I don't know. But anyway, in the meantime, let's see who we've got. We've got Tessa, who is kind of like the sensible person in the house. And we've got Nadine, who was married to Ben, who was Jeff's wayward brother. Now they had a son called Derek. And it was very, very quick that Nadine realised what Ben was like and more or less divorced him straight away. We've got Stephen and Will. Now they're a married couple and they live in this kind of apartment, if you like, at the top of the house. But obviously they do have a lot of interaction with the other guys as well. So these are probably my favourite family to play. And because there's 5 of them in the house, there's a lot going off. In fact, the original group was with Cheryl, who we met in the previous house. But she used to live here as well. But she moved out when she married, and yeah, that is the original house that kind of inspired the whole series. Now, there was an occasional spin-off to Newquest, which was introduced. Now, this is Fred, and over there is his husband, Nobby. Now, what happened here is they adopted a daughter called Mariah, who ultimately moved into Newquest, and then ultimately moved out of Newquest and over into Dalesville Valley with Dusty, who was Shirley and Jeff's daughter, who was also adopted. Now, they live over in Dalesville Valley now. Now, this huge house is where Mariah and Dusty now live. Mariah wanted to be an actress, and Dusty always wanted to be an internet sensation. So they moved to Dalesville Valley to live out their dreams, and succeeded. Now, here's Mariah, and she is a... If we just have a look,
Menzu.
What she's done with her life, she is now a silver screen icon. And Dusty is an internet superstar. Now, they live in this big house with their boyfriends and are basically living their absolute best lives. So they did what they set out to do, basically, and this is the result. One very big house, still living together, but this time with their boyfriends. And that was Newquest Chronicles. So why did I put this video together? Well, I think the main reason is because Newquest Chronicles is something I am incredibly proud of, and the fact that it was the first thing I ever did on YouTube. Now, because at the time I only had maybe 35, 36 subscribers, it kind of got lost. And I think when you put so much effort into something, you kind of want to get it out there. But the only problem is, Sims videos in general is so saturated on YouTube, unless you get lucky, unless you are an incredibly talented creator. Things like this just get lost. It's as simple as that. But I want to keep it going. I want to make sure that people know about it. Maybe I will revisit it one day and perhaps do another series, Newquest Chronicles Part 2. Who can tell? But I have got a special place for these guys, and it helped me along, if you like. It made me realise that, yeah, there is a place for everybody on YouTube. It doesn't matter how old or how young you are. Somebody somewhere is going to end up with a smile on their face because of what you do. Anyway, enough of all this. Let's crack on with life, shall we? And I will see you very soon for another video.